All right. Alrighty then. Well, actually, maybe I need to turn down that because I don't want it to be cracking. There we go. Maybe test, 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 test. I really don't. Yeah, that's good. Alrighty. It's cold. I've got on 2 hoodies. I love the hoodie I normally wear. Oh, seriously, it got cold too. Oof. Oof. Be 25. Got a nice 25 outside. Okay. So, I have done a little bit of work since we last. Maybe I should put this on the screen. I'll do that too. And I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's do that right now. It's like documenting yourself waking up 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. That's what it's like watching my brain go from being asleep to awake. It's interesting. It's real fun when there's no one here. Since it's like real full on crazy talk. Wouldn't really think about it. A couple more streaks to lighten this up just a little bit more. And I might hit it again with flesh wash. To remove my cloak. Let my beautiful curls shine through. That's not me bragging about my hair. It's just what the barber says whenever they cut all your hair off if you have curly hair, I think. I don't want to go to work today. Alright, so I did do a little bit of work off of stream. I did quite a bit of work off stream. And it really wasn't actually quite a bit. It was just washes, inks. Mainly, yeah, okay. Just making sure I'm still fine. Mainly this area still. I'm gonna have to film this. still in frame for this, right? Barely. No! Flash Wash. Flash Wash has become definitely something that I like. Burr. I really need to go to sleep. I'm sleepy. It's looking good though. I mean, it's looking good. That's for sure. I picked this up the other day when I was getting other. Let's see what else I picked up. I picked up Flush Wash. Picked up a bunch of different inks. And I love Monument. I love Pro Krill. So I figured I might as well check out Flush Wash. It was a good choice. It was a good choice. It's very similar to Reichland, as you can see. However, I do think it gives me similar results to what I need with Reichland. Flesh Shade, kind of quicker. It's hard to say. I definitely already like that it's in a bottle, though. I don't like those. They're more convenient for dipping my brush into, but I don't trust myself remotely. Every time I open one of those, I'm just waiting to knock it over and spill it. And despite what anyone says, the style of paint bottle that they put the paint in does not affect the taste. So don't get me to look like a punk when someone's like, it tastes so much better. No, it doesn't. They always taste the same. Right. Now, I'm feeling pretty confident. That's something pretty good. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So I think I'm going to come in here to something similar. And by similar, I mean exactly the same. This might be what we're actually doing with the right one, so I can kind of get it bigger. It's so similar to Ragnar Flesh Shade, though, which is kind of wildly surprising, but also was awesome because I was really afraid that the Ragnar Flesh Shade that I was using is not the same one that I'd be able to buy now because it's clearly been a long time. And I'm afraid they've changed up the formula because they do that kind of stuff. Not just GW places in general. Alrighty. Also try not to be too insane about it because I don't know weather at the end, which is a big part. I'm really happy with how the inks turned out though. On the temples, I'm probably gonna put a little bit more, but for right now, I might put a little. That is such an unpleasant look. Very wet, soft. That's what I was going for. Okay, so I might try to put just a little bit pale under this yellow. Yeah. Mm, 645. All's one. Mm, mm, okay. Mm, amen now. Mm, oh, just trying to wake up. All right. I've done my due diligence. All right. If you are joining just now, just doing some flesh work. That's kind of what I've been doing for a couple days. So, where actually put it? Alrighty. Yeah, I guess I'll turn this a little like this so you can actually see what I'm working on here. Just down here on the side, pretty much. Just dealing with this wash. You guys can see what I'm working with now. It's just the same process as I do elsewhere. It's just a matter of blending the flesh tones in a way that seems realistic, or is at least visually upsetting. There is a part that I'm debating on fixing. Working predominantly in washes and inks definitely makes it feel a lot more like it's just working with oils, except you just don't have the same chemical requirements. I know Matt, with totally not panicking, is a big fan of oils. I am too, but I think he uses them very regularly. I don't like to use them unless I'm deciding that's what I'm going to be using, but I think that's what he's done. I think he's decided he's going to do that, which is very, I mean, that's how you make a firm stance, because they definitely require a different kind of setup if you're wanting to avoid the smells and stuff, which is like my predominant thing. I try to make sure that I don't poison my cats or my wife with any of my noxious fumes. Because I definitely have quite a few paints that you open it up and you're like, yeah, that'll kill you. That smells like death in a bottle. So, always got to think about safety. I think the next thing I'm going to hit is going to be this metal. I've really wanted to get some actual color on there for a long time now, because it's kind of jarring how different it looks, and I know it's going to impact very greatly the rest of the skin tones whenever I actually put the metal on there. Which I'm thinking, first and foremost, is going to be probably a layer of black metal from Scale 75. That's probably one of my all-time favorites, especially if I'm starting with just a base to try to determine what color metal. I've gone back and forth on this a lot, and I still have not decided if I want to go with a silver and aluminum typically when you're going with metal, you're talking about either gold or silver. So I'm still not sure which one I wanted to go to. Gold is obviously the one that I was leaning towards, uh, but I don't think that gold. I don't know how gold will look with the rest of the skin tones. I could see using regular metal, like an almost iron or steel kind of look. So, which that would be silver, but it's going to be a more realistic, uh, practical metal as opposed to the shiny fanciness of silver. Uh, Probably going to go with that. Around the cage, the chains, the head cap, more chains, nails. Those are going to be hit. And that's probably when I'll switch brushes. I don't like these nice brushes when I'm pretty much dry brushing, but like pretending to not. When I'm doing my pretend dry brushing with wet paint, that's typically when I'll switch and start using brushes that aren't $1 for a box. That came off way too quick. Did not get to actually play in it, so kind of a little bit more there. I do like how it turned out. Did give me a nice variation. See the things that are very hard to pull off and get to look naturally that we're really kind of trying to engineer or get to happen are going to be like any kind of spider webbing. Spider webbing, anything that makes it look extremely realistic. Uh, we're kind of trying to get that in motion by applying these washes, and we could absolutely do that ourselves. We could paint them; they will not look as natural, and that is the big thing. You can paint them to make them look natural, but what I'm saying is this is not a real animal, so knowing how its anatomy and how its veins and whatnot would actually work is very much a nonsensical thought. So actually seeing where it's falling naturally on its own is the best that I can do as far as making it seem like something that is organic and real. It's just letting nature do what it's doing when I put the water and the ink on here. Too much off there. It's too wet. So that is the problem with working like this, though, is because things dry at different times. They dry different levels of intensity. It's a very back and forth game of applying a wash, toning it down, applying a wash, toning it down, applying a wash, toning it down. But eventually, if you do that, you can get a really good kind of sense of how to do that. It's like anything else, building up muscle memory, building up experience. Yeah, that looks good. I'm getting very pleased with skin tones. Yeah. Skin tones are starting to look. So this area right here looks awesome. I'm very happy with that. I'm just now trying to get the rest on par with that. Good chunk of it is all the white that I've got in there. But again, that's not a very crisp. It's not a crisp white. It's a very, very, very dirty white with lots of variation. So trying to get that and just copy paste it over here is very difficult. Also finding out where it would peel through, which is mainly here-ish. That's like the top of the bone. So we would see when it pulls the skin, we would see those parts. That's where it would be the widest. Okay. Let's go ahead and pick up down here. Alrighty. Okay. Putting some flush wash on the face over here. We're just doing a little dabbling. I'm just dabbling today. I'm not really getting into it. Just doing some dabbling. False. We are getting into it today. We're doing that. We're doing a thing. We're doing a lot. Bam. Yeah. That looks good. Having a great time. Boom, 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 bow. Alrighty. Yeah. Well, look at that. Looks pretty good. It's in there, that's for sure. So let's find black metal. It's probably behind my laptop. It's right there. Black metal. So as far as metallic paints go, I like this one. My work area just gets so dirty, so quick. It's like I don't know how it happens. It's like someone else breaks in and uses it. I've been signed up for the substance this whole time. Yeah, just a little metal. Gentle boy. That's the same. Do think it would save time if I'd done this very early, because I feel like I could have been using a lot of these washes to weather the chain now as well. However, with that said, I was very afraid of putting it on here because I did not want it to immediately get lost and then have to repaint the metallics. Because I'm pretty sure that's what I had to do the first time. Metallics got lost in the mix. And I had to retouch them up, and it made them more noticeable. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Just because there's so many pieces of the chain that are really deep down in the embedded in the flesh or underneath the gore. There's just a lot of detail, a lot of stuff going on. It's very difficult to properly. The key is you don't give it special attention, if that makes sense. The more you treat something like it's not the material that it is, I think that it can show. I think making metal look real and one is a difficult thing to do. Because metal typically, the longer it's used, looks less and less like itself. So it needs to be like it needs to be salty. Salty is always a big thing. And now I realize that ironic, given the giant phallic demon. Subtlety, talking about subtlety, is a bit of an irony. However, I will also stand that I think the thing that makes this guy so scary is not that it's just a giant phallic shape. I think what makes it scary is the subtleties. There's a lot going on physically as well as metaphorically. I wanted you to see this. I wanted you to have to think about it and what it is. If you allow yourself to play in some places, maybe recognize some things that you don't recognize. I think that's my goal with making these teams is making us confront our inner selves that we don't want to, which is what I did when I made them. So it's very difficult also to know if I want to go with fresh or dried core. Hard to say at this point. As far as the wounds cutting into its skin, it needs to be, I think, a mix. That's mainly based off of like whales and elements. Anything. Hey, yo, boss, what it do? Uh, Based on whales and elephants, um, are typically the animals that I think of. Any large mammal. That was what mainly I was trying to go with the look. Now I just need to get the color and the texture. Uh, whenever I go to paint it. But the main inspiration, yeah. So any large mammal, there are like parts of their bodies that the calluses just get insane, and I really wanted it to look like that, to look like it was just a bunch of calluses that have developed where these chains just rub constantly, and this thing's trying to like just manhandle its way through every situation, uh, like a big dummy dumb, like a big old dumb dumb. Where did my black metal go? Where did I put you? Tell me all secrets. There you are. Maybe double audio can. Damn it. Dang. I think you made me cry. Wait, no, that's off. This is okay. Double audio again? Damn. Hmm. Dang. Okay, how about now? Perhaps I am double audio, but perhaps I do not. Is that good? So this also was down. That is where it was when I started. So this is how my stream was the last time. So maybe that was silly. Maybe that's good. Are you using your laptop mic? I am not. I'm using the mic on this camera, or at least I thought it was. Oh boy. Let me try here. That good? Sound louder now for sure? Okay. I've only got one mic on that I can see. I do have another mic down here that's turned off, and I have the audio now turned off as loud as possible. So hopefully I don't still have double audio. Sounds good now. Okay, awesome. That's what I was needing. Okay, cool. Back to the black metal. So yeah, a bunch of these chains just got absolutely hidden down there in these flesh tones. Much clearer too. Cool. Okay, awesome. So I should have definitely had that the way it was before, and I should have just left it alone. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Man, I tell you what, I have not been to work in like a hot minute, a week and something, and I'm not excited. I'm going to have so many emails, so much more work that I'll never get done. It's all part of being part of a corporate war machine. I'm not part of the corporate war machine. I am part of the corporate machine, but not the war machine. Alrighty. Putting some black metal on these little hooks and chains. Hoping I don't touch the skin. As I spin on left. I did. Okay. I touched the skin. I touched the butt. Gotta get my foot in here. I really gotta get my foot in here for this one. Sometimes you just really gotta get in there. Yeah, push these hooks. Might have gone in here paying a little too rough and rowdy. That's too much of a rowdy rough boy. Rowdy rough boy. Damn. Watched The Substance recently, which I would highly recommend. Anyone, if you're looking at this kind of stuff, you're gonna like that kind of stuff. Uh, Very good movie. Very stoked. And seeing that it got like nominated for awards, but I don't give a shit about awards for myself or others for the most part. But I do think it's cool that a genre that is typically completely disregarded and ignored for any kind of like awards or contributions to film as a whole or art, really. That was the other thing my wife and I were talking about. That horror, any art form, whether it be painting, sculpture, film, horror is just, it's not taken with the same sense of seriousness. It doesn't have the same hoops to jump through. It's like one of my absolute favorite films is Hereditary. Not to be cliche, but damn, that movie's so good. And it's just so very clear that the director spent a lot of time actually studying the occult, like learning legit. I don't know, when you bust out any demon from like the Lesser Key of Solomon, I get stoked because I'm like, oh hell yeah, you've actually done some research about demons. You're not just like, I'm a demon. Or the greatest sin for me is when someone's house is being possessed by the legitimate devil. That's wild. Uh, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like what the equivalent would be of like what I would have to do to get like God to be like, dude, Eli, stop doing what you're doing. He's not told me to stop yet. That's not me trying to be cynical or anything. I'm just talking. I'm still waking up. You guys know this. Don't take anything I say just serious. Except fucking Nazis take that real serious. Stand by that. Man, you ever put so much extra on stuff that you're like, I don't know if I did that or if that was something else. Sometimes. Sometimes I feel like that. Awesome. I got Christmas socks on because I needed some warm socks. And I'm not really a sock guy. Yep, that's about it. My wife does not like that. I take my socks off when I'm like on the couch because I'm like, man, I'm getting all nice and comfy and snug. And I'll take my socks off and then I will put them next to me so I don't forget them because I forget things a lot. And then you guys aren't gonna believe this, but I forget them. So I've got these socks that are on the couch next to where my butt goes when I sit down on the couch. Uh, and my wife does not like that I do that because of what happens next. And I do this with our bed as well. I'll take my clothes off before I get in bed. I'm like, okay, it's time to go to bed, time to get sleepy. And I'll go in and I'll take off my clothes and I'll get in because I like to sleep in just my underwear. So now you know. Anyway, so I get in bed, I take off my clothes, put them down, and then at some point between going to bed and the rest of the day, the next time when I go to sleep, they will get kicked under the bed. And then before you know it, I have an entire closet of clothing that I store under my bed uh, that I believe has either A, been stolen. The way I look at it, Possum, is there are three possibilities. One, it was stolen. Two, it was stolen. Three, it was stolen. Um, no, so it's just, my clothes, they just disappear. And I'm like, man, that's weird. I don't know where they went. But they're under the bed. And I find out when my wife finds them and tells me how disappointed she is that I'm hoarding clothes under the bed again. But I don't mean to. It's the same situation with the socks. I take them off on the couch. I put them there so I don't forget them. And then I get up and I get something and I sit back down and my butt pushes those socks into like a little crevice in between the couch cushions, and bam, the socks are gone for however long until we lose the remote and my wife has to rip the couch apart in a frenzy while she's trying to find it. She's just, where's this remote? And then I hear the couch cushions come up, and I know that I'm about to get yelled at because she's going to find a bunch of socks in that couch unintentionally. Greeblin's still in your clothes. Yes, that leads me to the final part of sock business, and that is that my son, my eldest son, Theodore, will hunt my socks. I leave them, or I don't leave them, wherever the socks are. There are times where he gets real sad because he can't find us. And sometimes I'm in the house. A lot of times we're in the house. He just forgets where we are and he starts going, wow, 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 wow. And it's the saddest sound in the world. And he picks up a sock, one of my socks. He'll pick up one of my socks or one of my wife's really fluffy socks, and he'll carry it around the house, walking with it between his little legs. And the whole time he's going, wow, 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 wow. We say it's the song of his people. It's very sad. It's a very sad song. It's like the song that the Eldar sang when the fall happened. It's about that level of sad. It's pretty sad, but that's how sad he is when he can't find where we are, and he gets a sock as an offering, and then we're like, "What are you crying about?" That's it. Haven't gotten into much texturing yet. Texturing's fun, man. I love texturing. It's fun. It's fun. It's a good way to add a lot of diversity and take a lot of work off your plate and let the inks and washes do the work. Oh boy, I think it's time to start painting this guy. Which I might just do it like this. In fact, I think yeah, it's really sad when Theo makes his sad songs. He's in the basement. You can hear him. You just hear wow, 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 wow. And we're just like, oh no, it's the song of his people. We have to go get him and see what he needs. And then we come downstairs and he's usually sitting on the floor with a sock, looking really sad. And we say, Theo, son, what's wrong? And he goes, brr. Something like that. A little chirp, and then he'll run up the stairs, and he says, hey. I'm like, that's my son. And I pick him up. I take him to sit wherever we were, sometimes in the same room. Could have seen us, he just was being too dramatic. And I get that. Sometimes you just want to be really dramatic. I get it. I'm dramatic all the time. I'm dramatic right now. I was falling for drama, baby. Falling for dramas and llamas. Llama drama. Baby llama drama. Baby llama drama is always too much for me. Little 8 Mile, that's weird. I think I'm gonna have to put more metal in there. Wow. Wow. Oh man. There it is. All right. 7:23 in the morning. We got like 17 minutes before I gotta make some coffee. Bow, 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 bow. Box is not here. So, awesome. I will tell you, there used to be a movie theater in my hometown. There still is. It's still there, but it's closed down. But there was a lady there. So my town, to give you an idea of the small ass town that I live in and the things that we really enjoy, this is not just me and my group of friends. This is like a town thing. Um, and it's not, we're not like a podunk. I mean, I'll have to look up how big my like city's population is, town's population. Anyway, there was a movie theater, and it's called the Movie Palace. And a very core part of, if you live and grew up in my town, a core part of your development would be the Movie Palace lady. Either the Movie Palace ticket lady, that's what you would refer to her. She'd be the Movie Palace ticket lady, um, or Taco Bell lady. So you have two kind of older women that it's just, they give off this, they're both great. They're great and they're different. So I'm going to start with Taco Bell first. So the Taco Bell lady was a very distinct woman that that worked at the Taco Bell. At the time, it was the only Taco Bell that we had. Now we have a bunch, and it is the worst Taco Bell. It's the Taco Bell you do not go to. At the time, it was the only one we had. I don't know if it's gotten worse or if it was always this bad. That's regardless. That's besides the point. Anywho, possum. What I'm trying to say is, so the Taco Bell, there was this lady there, and I'm not making fun of this woman. I love this woman. This woman is like, all jokes aside, like a key part of my development as a human, and my wife's and my friends and people who live in my town. But she sounds like she smokes a pack of Virginia Slims like it's her religion. Hello. But when you pull up, she says, "Thank you for choosing Taco Bell. How can I take your order?" She just has she is an NPC. Like, in the most true sense, like, you're like, oh shit, now you go to the town and you go to see Taco Bell lady, and like, you tell her what you want, and then she'll be like, okay, pull around. Like, you remember her. Yeah, Taco Bell lady. And then the Movie Palace lady, which was another very similar older woman that sounded like she smoked a lot of Virginia Slims. But yeah, you would give her your ticket, and she would say, "Okay, thank you so much. On the right at the end, enjoy." And like, that woman, I cannot stress enough. Like, I am a person that, like, I will spend way more money on things like for that. Like, you can give me like a gold plated chair that's like, it's fancy and all this stuff. But if there's no soul, I don't give a shit. Like, that just wasn't old. That older than me, because I was a child, lady, and her just sandpaper honey voice. Ooh, I love it. There's just something that I just like. I like when people just have real gravelly voice. Like, I like when people have voices that are not, I guess, what you would consider naturally good. When my wife and I went to London for our honeymoon, we both were so excited when we were at our the little pub, uh, like below our hotel. Uh, we were just in there having a Guinness, having some food, having a great time. And then the whole time we've been there, we hadn't heard anybody. But then there was this girl with the most Cockney accent I have ever heard in my life. I mean, it's like, it made everybody in the movie Snatch. You're just like, oh, okay, just a bunch of actors. Like, this lady was Cockney. And holy shit, it's just that I loved it. Like, we were both just like, your voice is so beautiful. You sound like an angel. But she was like, and anyway, then I got over on the Piccadilly. And she was just like at least 3 decibels louder than everyone else in the room, and just very clearly unaware. I loved it. I loved it. It was great. Work on developing a really fun accent, and then become a chain smoker. That's my advice for everybody, including myself. I'll start working on it soon. All right, I gotta weather this metal now. Gotta weather that metal now. This, I'm not really too sure how much weathering I want to put on it and how much it's just going to be mud. But I'm definitely going to hit it. What's it mean? But which one? I do kind of want to see what this looks like. And I'm kind of just in like a trash man, so I'm just going to. We'll just see. I'm thinking it'll be. That should look pretty cool. That stuff's pretty gross. Yeah. Very oily. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking that. Take a bunch of that charcoal, throw it over there, and then probably take a sponge and just to get the metal flakes up so I can show that it is metal underneath of there. Then we're going to probably take a little bit of actual. By the way, have you tried any of YouTube's lower latency options? I don't know. I need to look into this kind of stuff. I'm so bad at this. I've not. Is it bad? Do I look like I have high latency? I need to do more homework. I bought a bunch of cameras and I bought a bunch of stuff, but I did not do the learning, which is typically what I do. But I really, oh boy, this was like I just want to throw the money at it, and I just don't learn. But I'm gonna have to learn. Why do I have to learn? I really don't want to like make a mess with another pen. I will look into that though. I'm taking it my latency is probably higher. That's not good. I don't want high latency. Alright, now I'm going to do sponge. Actually, Q-tip. If you lower the latency, it can make the video worse, but it will create less delay between when someone says something in chat and you say, oh, okay. See, I thought that's what it did. I am sorry. I'm sorry, Possum. I will address that. So, Possum, if you don't mind me asking, how did you come up with your name? DIY Possum. I like it a lot. I like possums a lot. But I will absolutely adjust the latency settings. I'll play around with latency more. So this is a good example of what I was talking about when I say that this stuff is like painting with tar. Like I just put that on there a little bit ago, and it already has the kind of consistency that I would expect from like a very gummy, like enamel almost kind of paint. The stuff is just there's really not any other liquid like it that I've encountered, and I think it's literally because they that's such a good answer. I love DIY and possums. I also love that you've stuck to spelling possum without the O, which I think is good. I think I like a nice pop without the O, just P. Uh, you like possums, so yeah, I think because this is literally just like straight charcoal, liquid form. I think that's probably why it just turned to like tar really quick. But man, I love how it looks. And fell in love with them after seeing artist Lauren Monger and their Clementine comics. Huh. I will have to check that out. I like possums in a I like the animal kind of way. They make me uncomfortable. I have had a lot of interactions with possums. I've only ever had one that I will say, being a human and having the internet, and I mean, I can read, I know that possums play dead. I will say, knowing that as an adult, the first time I saw a possum play dead, I legitimately, for a moment, was like, holy shit, I think he fucking died. Because, yeah, this guy looked dead. Um, but yeah, my mom, we had cats that lived. This is going to shock you. I come from a long line of people who love cats. Uh, but we had cats that lived in a. This is going to sound terrible, or it's not. It's going to sound like we're insane people. So we had a shed in the backyard. They didn't. Also, one, I know, I realize a lot of people are like, my cats just live on a barn. They sleep wherever they sleep. So this shed was not just a shed, it was a shed that my mom had like insulated. Like she turned this shed into a home with air conditioning and a fan and wall insulation. It looked like a miniature version of our house that our two cats lived in when I was growing up. And so every night we would go out there. We would leave the door open so they could play outside, and then we'd close them up at night so they would be safe. And typically every night I would go outside. There would either be a bunch of possums. Sorry, not possums, punchums. Not a bunch of punchums. It's like a possum that only punches, or a raccoon that only punches. There were a bunch of raccoons. I haven't seen a possum play dead in person, even when I tipped one out of a trash can. It seemed stuck in. No. Oh yeah, man. So the raccoons were scary because they can be really. I know they can be gnarly. And there was a raccoon that ripped a hole in my mom's like roof, 100-plus-year-old house, like 2 stories, climbed this giant ass tree to get on the roof, but it had the original wood shingles, which that in itself, ugh. Anywho, so this raccoon ripped a hole in the roof and like went inside, had babies, and then they just lived in our attic for a while. But the possum, like, I was just like, oh, get the hell out of here, and then it played dead, and I was just like, okay, I know, come on, man, I'm trying to go to bed too, like, get out. But he didn't, so I was like, ah, fuck. So I grabbed a rake, like a plastic rake, and I was like, all right, bud. I just kind of like poked him, and he didn't move, and I was like, okay, I get it. I know you play dead. You're a possum. So then I took the rake and like kind of put it over him, like a, and it's like a really flimsy rake. This did not hurt the possum. I'm an animal lover. I put the rake over the possum and like started to rake the possum out. I used a rake and I raked a possum. I raked a possum out of my cat's house while it was playing dead. And this is where I was like, holy shit, okay, I'll bite. Because it started to drool. So it's this possum that's gone. I mean, completely limp. It is limp entirely with its tongue hanging out and it's drooling. And I'm raking it out of this. I mean, it's probably like a 10-foot. Like I'm just raking it like I would rake like dust or leaves, but it's a possum pretending to be dead and drooling the whole time. And he got outside the door, and I was just dumbfounded. I was just like, huh. And then he just got up and just ran away. So yeah, it was that thing. Like normally they do that where they just run, but I think I had him cornered, and he was like, the only way I'm getting out of here is if he thinks I'm dead. And despite knowing that he could do that, he did trick me. Uh yeah, holy shit, that guy looks dead. And that's the time I rolled a possum. I did roll a possum. I also have had my foot inside of a raccoon's mouth. That was not by my choice. And I can cover that. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's something good. It's got it kind of removed the sheen. I feel like at least certain points. I love that it's entirely involuntary too. Yeah, that's the thing that I like. I like when nature has really fucked up sick jokes for certain animals. When it's just like, yeah, that's just When you get really scared, this is what you're going to do. It's like, oh, just pretend to be dead. Just go limp. Just accept it. I'm really thinking that I want to hit that with some of this yellow wash. Man, I love this vortex thing. It just spins it so good. I really want to get more of this Vallejo oiled earth. I don't think they make it anymore. I'm pretty sure I got the clearance. That is awful sound. I'm so sorry. I think it's almost empty, that's why. But I'm not ready to give up the ghost. I really like this wash. It's just real nasty. I don't know. I'll look up more and see if I can find a different version. But there's just something about it that I really like. It makes, once it dries, it changes the finish. It gives it a very oil finish. I don't know. It's like grasshoppers. They blow their own back legs off when they panic sometimes. I did not know that. It's coffee time. All right, Possum. Well, it has been wonderful talking to you and having you here. I appreciate it. I did not know the grasshoppers did that. That's wild. I know we looked into getting a crested gecko for a while. And I know that the cresties, their tails don't grow back, but I know that like leopard geckos do. I had a iguana when I was a kid that traumatized me, and its tail did pop off. That traumatized me. Yes, you too. I'm gonna go make that coffee. You all have a good one. Godspeed.